Hello, good sirs. Welcome back. Oh, that's so nice of you to groom him. Ever so kind, Ash. Hi, hello, and good morning. Today we're going to be going to the vet. It is currently 8 a.m. and we have a vet appointment at 9:30 a.m. So the reason why we're going to the vet today is because Mr. Ash has a bald spot on his neck. He's been there for a few weeks and it was quite concerning because I could actually start to see his skin now. So I was just like, ooh, this is different. So I gave my vet a call and they asked me a bunch of questions. They said, does he seem irritated by it? Did he just get vaccinated recently? And I was like, no, he didn't. And they explained that usually vaccinations cause a bit of hair loss around the neck. The only other thing it could be is mites. In order to confirm whether it's mites or not, they have to go check on him. And my worried brain was like, I should take him. I should really take him, because what if it's mites? It could just be a very bad molt because Ash just gets those very often, but I don't want it to be mites. So I'm gonna go take them to the vet today. I've only ever had two types of carriers. The first one I had was the foldable fabric type ones, but my rabbits actually chewed through that, and if other people have tried those carriers, the rabbits do get nervous and they do tend to chew when they're on the way to the vet. I recommend the plastic hard shell kind of carriers. They are a lot safer in case you get into a car accident as well, and rabbits tend to pee when they're nervous. That's why I put blankets in there, but it's also easier to clean if it's obviously a hard surface compared to the fabric ones. Yeah, I usually lay out a blanket for them so it's a lot softer, and I had a bunch of hay in there in case they want to munch on it. Sometimes they angrily dig at the blankets or nervously chomp on some hay on the way to the vet, so that's why I put that in there. If you go to a rabbit vet, they always encourage you to bring all of your rabbits, not just one, because when they go to the vet, that one rabbit might smell weird and they might smell like other rabbits too. So when you take them home, it might cause a bonded group or pair to fight. So yeah, even though Ash is the only one who needs to be checked out by the vet today, all three of them are coming, and I've explained that in my video already about bonding rabbits and why it's so important to have a bonded pair or a bonded group for your rabbit, because they do get this sense of support and security from each other. The rabbits have been in the carrier a few times, so they kind of know what to expect and they can't be tricked anymore, so it's very difficult to get them in there. And so I just took Milky and Cookie. So I just took Milky and Ash this time. Rabbits are still considered exotic pets, and having vets that specialize in their care isn't cheap. It's not common knowledge that rabbits need to be neutered or to actually even be taken to the vet. They were always just bred as farm animals, and they're kind of like, oh, they'll take care of themselves for sure. You want to sit on the blanket? You're so cute. So I clearly have 3 rabbits, and all 3 of them had to be neutered to be bonded. It costs around $400 per rabbit to get them neutered by a rabbit savvy vet. That's not money for people to just throw away and have fun with. So yeah, owning rabbits isn't cheap, but neither is owning any pet. Vet bills are expensive, and the more pets you have, the more it's gonna cost you. I've been taking them all to this vet for over, I don't know, like 3 years. I think they're one of the only rabbit specific vets in Melbourne. They're called Melbourne Rabbit Clinic. What I really love about them is every single vet also owns rabbits of their own, so that's really great, and I really love that about this vet clinic, and that's why I always go and why I will continue to take them there. You'd think to go to a local generalized vet, but I worry way too much. So I always take them to a rabbit specific vet for anything in general, because they are very sensitive creatures. So I always say to people, if you have any questions or concerns about your rabbit or your pet, you have to call the vet, because that is exactly what I do. You couldn't fit. Cookie. I get worried about my rabbits because they can't verbally tell you whether they are in pain or not, or if they're uncomfortable. Same with dogs, they can't tell you that either. But the difference with dogs and rabbits is that rabbits don't actually visibly show you if they are hurt or if they're injured, because they are prey animals. They prefer to go hide, and if they show that they have a weakness, a predator would get to them and they would die. So it's very difficult for owners to know whether or not their rabbit is fine. One of the best ways to check is whether your rabbit is still eating. You'll find that a lot of your vets will ask, is your rabbit eating? Does he seem visibly irritated? So yeah, the way to check with rabbits if they're fine is if they're eating, if their poop looks normal, if they're drinking water, if they're eating their hay. There's also one more reason why I encourage people to keep their rabbits indoors, is because you get to know your rabbit's behaviors and you start noticing when something's a little bit off. So with Ash, I saw that he was hiding a lot more and I was like, is he good? And so, is he good? It's a good way to explain it. A lot of the times it's very subtle differences in their attitude. A lot of the times they'll be hiding in a spot that they don't normally hide in, or there's just a lot of abnormal things that they would do and only you would notice if you're around them very often. Rabbits are very sensitive creatures and it's hard to tell if they're hurt or injured, but you start learning a few things when you're around them a lot. So with Ash's bald spot, everything was all good. She ruled out every single thing and asked me a bunch of questions. She said the fact that he was eating normally ruled out a lot of the options that she was thinking it might be. So she did a test on the back of his neck to find some mites, and she said she couldn't find anything. And I've explained to her as well that he's had a history of hair loss at the back of his neck. She said it's most likely from him over grooming himself, so that's good to hear. Gave me a fright for no reason. Yeah, and she wasn't really worried about Ash because he's primarily housed indoors, and that's also why I encourage people to keep their rabbits indoors, because they're a lot less prone to any diseases or harm. When I took him, they did the test for the back of his neck, obviously, and they also do a general all-around checkup on him. I was really glad that I took him because although he didn't have mites in the back of his neck, they did find some pussiness inside one of his ears. If you didn't know, lop-ear rabbits are more prone to ear infections because the way that their ears are shaped. If you know rabbits in the wild, their ears are naturally shaped in an upwards direction, so there's a lot of airflow going into their ear canals. Not a lot of stuff gets trapped in there, but lop rabbits, since their ears are shaped that way, a lot of fungus and a lot of weird crap gets into their ears. If you're thinking of getting a lop-eared rabbit, just understand that they are more prone to ear infections. And I asked the vet how often they should be checked up on, and they said you should bring your lop-eared rabbits in every 6 months. So just for a general checkup, see if their teeth are fine and if their ears are fine especially. While the mucus in Ash's ears wasn't that bad, ear infections can actually lead to head tilt, which is a disease that rabbits have. And I didn't actually know that ear infections could cause that. As my vet explained, it's better to take a lot of preventative measures against diseases like that. And of course, rabbits can still live a happy life when they have head tilt. There's nothing we can really do about the way lop-eared rabbits are bred. You just have to be mindful that they are prone to ear infection. It does bother me that we have domesticated animals in such a way that suits our needs more than their needs. Lop-eared rabbits were bred in a way because we thought that lop-eared rabbits are a lot cuter than how they naturally have their ears, and because of that they're prone to more infections and disease, and that's really sad, honestly. It's like how you see domesticated dogs come in different breeds and different shapes and sizes, and that's mainly for human purposes, not their purposes. Like pugs, they're bred in a way that their face looks squished because it looks cuter to us. They end up with a lot of breathing problems when they're older. Sausage dogs, they're also bred in a way where their legs are shorter and they have a longer body, and then they're more prone to back problems when they're older. So that's just some of the many ways that we've bred animals in a way that's very unnatural to their wild ancestors. And if you see dogs, they have a long snout, they have long legs. With wild rabbits, they have ears that are upright and they're certain colors so they can camouflage in the wild. Whereas we have rabbits who have lopped ears, little ears, they have bright white coats. So that's my little piece said about domesticated animals. So yeah, I'm not saying that owning any of those animals is bad. It's just understanding what they're more prone to and making sure they get the proper care that they need. I definitely fell under that boat. I got lop-eared rabbits because I thought they were cuter. Only later did I know that they were more prone to infections in their ears. So I do my best to make sure they get checked up on and make sure their ears are checked. because the way that their ears are shaped, it's very hard to actually see their ear canal. My vet told me their ears kind of go like this and then like down and then in, so it's very deep and there's a lot of gunk that builds up in there, and it just has to be checked by the vet. I hope you learned a little bit more about vet care and lop-eared rabbits specifically, and thank you for listening to me speak about it. Thanks for watching.